All right, let's get into it. Today we're talking about one of the most powerful things you can do in Power BI, and that's using DAX to basically become a time traveler with your data. The whole point is to stop looking at flat numbers and start building a real story with real insights over time. So let's dive in. So let me just ask you this. Think about your reports right now. Are you just looking at a list of numbers? Sales were X, costs were Y. Or are you actually seeing the story unfold? Can you spot the trends, the growth, the seasonal dips, all without breaking a sweat? And that question, it really gets to the heart of what I call the time-based data puzzle. It's this super common problem where you're sitting on a mountain of data, right? But asking a simple question like, how are we doing this month compared to last year? Well, that can be surprisingly tough to answer. Because here's the thing, your data is dying to tell you a story. But a simple table of sales figures? It's accurate, sure, but it has zero context. It's just a flat list of numbers. It doesn't show you momentum or how you're tracking against your goals. You have to do a ton of work to get any real meaning out of it. But here's the good news. Power BI has the secret weapon built right in, and it's designed for this exact problem. It's called DAX, or Data Analysis Expressions. And specifically, its time intelligence functions are the key that will unlock the hidden stories in your data. So what is this stuff really? Well, honestly, the best way to think about DAX time intelligence is like a literal time machine for your data. No joke. These are special functions that let you jump around in time, comparing different periods on the fly and doing calculations that would be a total nightmare to do manually. Okay, so let's get our hands dirty with a real-world example, a true building block of business analytics. Tracking your year-to-date performance. This is something pretty much every single business needs to do, right? And the go-to function for this is called TOTALYTD. It's this fantastic, powerful shortcut. You basically tell it what you want to add up, like your total sales, and it automatically calculates the running total from the very start of the year, right up to whatever date you're looking at. And here it is, the actual DAX formula. It might look a little bit like code, but don't worry, it's actually pretty simple when you break it down. Every single piece in those parentheses has a really important job to do. So, let's do that. Let's pull it apart. Okay, so there are three main parts. First up, the expression. This is what we're calculating. In this case, we're summing up the sales column. Easy enough. Second, the dates. This just tells DAX which calendar to use for its time travel. And third, and this part is really cool, we can specify the year end. So if you have a fiscal year that doesn't end in December, like this one ending June 30th, it's no problem at all. So here's where the magic really happens. Let's say your report is filtered to show just September 2017. Normally, that's all you'd see. But our TOTALYTD function swoops in and completely changes the rules. It throws out the September-only filter and applies a new one, telling Power BI, hey, show me everything from the start of our fiscal year, July 1st, all the way through September 30th. And just like that, you have a running total. Okay, so tracking progress within a year, that's awesome. But you know what's even more powerful? Comparing how you're doing right now to how you did at this exact same time last year. This is year-over-year growth, and it's where the really juicy insights are found. Now, this formula is a little more involved, so before we build it, I'm going to let you in on a pro tip, a true DAX best practice, using variables. You just declare them with var. Think of a variable as a little temporary storage box. We can do a calculation, save the answer in the box, and then use it later. It keeps our code so much cleaner and, believe it or not, makes it run faster. So step one of our plan is to create one of those storage boxes, a variable we'll call sales prior year. Inside it, we're going to put last year's sales. And how do we get that? We use another time machine function called PARALLELPERIOD. We tell it to take our current dates, jump back exactly 12 months, and grab the sales total from that period. That value then gets saved right into our variable. So once we have last year's sales numbers safely tucked away in our variable, the rest is actually pretty simple. The return part is just the final math calculation. We take this year's sales, subtract the sales prior year value we just stored, and then divide by that same prior year value to get our growth percentage. See how clean that is? Is way easier to read. So after all that code, what's the payoff? What did we actually uncover? Well, let's look at a real example. We're going to use our new measure to compare sales from July 2018 directly against the sales from July 2017, a perfect head-to-head comparison. And there it is. Boom. A 392% increase. Wow. Let that sink in for a second. That is not just a number on a spreadsheet, that is a massive, game changing insight. A story that was completely invisible until we used DAX to ask the right question. A nearly 400% jump is something everyone needs to know about. So let's just take a breath. What you've just seen, these aren't just a couple of functions. These are, and I'm not exaggerating, your new analytical superpowers. You now have the ability to go way beyond just reporting what happened, and you can start explaining why it happened by looking through time. So, here are the key things to remember. When you need to see a running total, you're going to reach for total YTD. When you absolutely have to compare one period to another, parallel period is your best friend. And please use var to create variables. It will make your life so much easier. These are the tools you'll use to build incredible data stories. So I want to leave you with this one thought. With these tools in your pocket, you're not just a data reporter anymore. You're a data storyteller. You can uncover trends and find insights that nobody else can see. So the only question left is, what amazing time-based story is your data waiting to tell?
In this lab of Power BI, we'll go through use DAX time intelligence functions in Power BI. Now, this is lab number 6 as per this document, and this is repo has been updated last month, as you see that one. It is showing March 11, 2026. So, so far, it's still this is current. But sometimes lab number may change, so just make sure that the lab content you focus on. I'll share this GitHub repo link so that you can follow into your own lab setup. So for this lab, you need to download the files which has already in the lab. It is mentioned the GitHub link so that you can get those files. So in my case, I have already downloaded. So let me go there. So we're going to start that 6 starter sales analysis Power BI, and we also need to snipe it because there are some code we may need to execute. So start that file, Power BI file. So to load that first time, it may take little time. Still loading. So now when you are in Power BI desktop in report view section, select the page 2, and this that I think what we have done into our previous lab. So this matrix visuals that displays various measures with years and month grouped on the rows level. Now we are going to add a measures to the sales table. So here sales. So create a new measure. And get the code here. So if I go here, sales YTD. So we can do that sales YTD measure is added there. And for that, make sure that decimal place for this one. So 0 decimal place. Now add that sales YTD into this. Let me put it little down. Oh no, then select that one and select that sales YTD. And we can see all the sales values within the year. So sales YTD or what is total here. Let me see that there is another function that we're going to add that you look that we have used the total YTD functions evaluates an expression. In this case, the sum of cells. So we are it's a sales table, sales column. So that's given also date window. So we have used that 6 to 30. So June is the last month of the year, and so therefore we have used June, and day is 30th is used. Now we'll create a year-to-year growth measure. So for that, we are going to, okay, this is one, but let me go to data pane, sales table, and create a new measure. And let me get the code. So now add this into this visual. Sales to year growth, sales year to year growth. And here you can see that few blank lines for the first actually for 2018 and for 12 months. This is because actually there were no sales values for that 2017 sales. And if we go to this value 489328, and this value is same. So that means the measured value for 2018 July is the same as 2017 July, that we can see from here. Now we will override the measure with the final formula that computes the growth result. So for that, we will override this one, sales Y to Y, which is year to year growth. and replace this formula with the next one, that second one. So now here is one thing. If you see here, for this time, we can see the variable which is sales per year has been used 2 times here, which is the difference than the first one. And after that, so what we see here, that year-to-year growth measure identifies almost a 400% increase of sales during the same period of the previous year. Now let's go to the model view, and these two new measures, sales year-to-year growth and sales year-to-date, and give it display folder name, time intelligence, INTEWLEIGS, time intelligence. And then you can save this button. So we complete this lab. If you have any questions, please add that into comment section. Otherwise, see you into next lab.